Welcome to the Voice of Many podcast show with Yolanda and Vanessa.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Our podcast would not be possible without you and our sponsor, Z-Funk Productions. We have the privilege to have with us tonight Mr. Charles Tolbert, who is the author of Hidden Secrets of a Married Man. Welcome to the mic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here tonight.
Charles, if you will, please share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and where you're located.
Oh, most certainly. Currently, I'm in the beautiful state of Georgia. Atlanta is the city. Actually, I'm in a smaller town called Hogansville, way out in the country. We call it the country, where not too many people will visit. but it's a good place where I can write books where it's nice and quiet. I don't have to worry about airplanes. And so, I was originally born in Cleveland, Ohio, and then, my parents, unfortunately, they went their separate ways. And so my mom, she decided to move to Los Angeles, and then we didn't last long until she moved us to San Francisco. That didn't last long, and then she moved us to Sacramento. And I said, you know what? I put on the brakes. I said, you know what? Enough is enough. It's time for me to go somewhere where I can just be in one spot. One spot.
I understand that.
So that's when I decided to move back to Los Angeles. I stayed there for about 20 years. And then I said, let me try something different. I'm not going to do all that moving like my mom did, but I'm going to go to Atlanta and just stay right there.
So can you tell us how you came about Hidden Secrets of a Married Man?
Most certainly. It began by just imagination and experience from other people. Not necessarily me, but other people's experiences. For example, I would listen to their stories. Since I've been married twice, I see a collaboration here of issues and dramas that's been going on in their lives. And I said, you know what? I had a moment after, being married twice, how when your mind goes through reflection.
Oh, yeah.
What could have been, what it should have been, it reminded me that song, Her, could have been. But anyways, this is the kind of things that, people do after a breakup. And so, one day when I said, Hidden Secrets of a Married Man, I heard a lot of guys have cheated in the family. Even in my family. A lot of the men have cheated. I don't know why we cheat. I don't understand. Is it genetic? I don't understand. But it's apparent that right this... Absolutely. And so, and I'll be the first to admit I'm guilty of done that myself. At least I was able to own up to it. And that's when I was young. I was young when I did it. So now, here it is, I have an opportunity to sit down and write a book and collaborate all these thoughts and bring up a plot and then the experiences. And then I said, hidden. Well, obviously, people hide. And it's not just the men, the women too cheat. So this book is not about male bashing. And it's not subjected to one situation. You're going to see a lot of things going through this book. And then when you finish the book, you're like, that makes sense. So that's why I wrote a book called Hidden Secrets of a Married Man.
Where did the motivation come from? I know you got it from other people and their experiences. What really made the passion for you to write it and put it on paper and sell it?
It's called education and awareness. The awareness comes from knowing this is what happens in a relationship when trust is broken. The education part comes from when you can learn from it and don't go into another relationship and make the same mistake. By reading the book, it's in hopes that people say, I'm not going that route. I'm going to try to make it work. That was my motivation.
Now, can you share with us, I know you've been married several times as well as myself, and I can relate to the book. I started reading it as well. Can you share with us at least two experiences and how they reflect back to the book?
Absolutely. With the first marriage, I've been married for 20 years in the first marriage. And for the most part, it has gone pretty great. until the latter end, it got rather aggressive on her end. What I mean by aggressive, like taking charge all the time, not allowing the man be the man, per se, of the house. The man is supposed to go out, typically, make the bread, bring the bacon home, while the wife takes care of the home. I mean, that's typical. Now, I understand that we're in a time where both work, and that's okay. But there's communication. There was no communication in that first marriage. So that's what really led to what is called adultery or infidelity. Trying to take charge, not allowing the man to be the man, and then don't want to communicate. There's, where is the person to run to? Another person, which is usually what ends up happening. And so, unfortunately, when you read the book and when you see, where at the end where she says, "How could you? How could you?" Well, I can recall hearing that before. How could you? Because she actually found out that I cheated. And when she found out, I straightened up. I really did. And I was like, whoo, that's not a good experience to feel. Especially during a breakup, it don't matter who cheated. It's the fact you're going to both feel the hurt if you really love that person. And so it's not a good feeling. And then when I think about the second marriage, however, I don't consider that even a marriage at all. When it was a total opposite. Typically, people marry somebody, like the first person, that could remind them of the first person. But no, I just did the total opposite. And so, unfortunately, that relationship just went to Hades, and you, as you read the book, you'll see some relevance or something that I can relate to, which is why I wrote it in there. You'll see it. So, I mean, even with those marriages, they're both good women. It is what it is. And I learned my lesson. And let me tell you something else. If you read the book, there's another point as far as dating. If you've been married for so long, and here it is, all of a sudden you got to start all over again. And then go into that dating scene. You don't even know how it is anymore. You don't know how to act. You don't even know how to respond. Are you supposed to say, "Hey, baby," or I don't know. How does this thing work? The dating scene has changed.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Just listening to you talk about both of your marriages, it is interesting how it went from one extreme to the next. And in your book, you do cover that, and it is a shocker, in just the opening of the book. But whenever
Absolutely.
you brought up a good point, is that whenever the infidelity happens, the person has to be willing to change. And a lot of times, instead of changing, they continue on. So that leads to a lot of hurt that continues.
It certainly does. And if I can interject, I don't understand how people, I'm just going to say people, how can they handle more than two people while they're married, outside of the marriage? How do they do it? I was just trying to juggle, just dealing with one wife, that was just enough for me. But, attempting to try to juggle another woman, it became, a burden for me,
Yeah.
and I can't speak for other people. I just can speak for myself. They can handle it, but they can have it. That's just too much. I'm like Sinbad. Why would you try to go with a young woman that you're 55 years old and you're trying to hang around with a 25-year-old? What can she do for you?
So true.
I'm like Sinbad for real. I mean, I'd be at the airport and I see these young women attracted looking at me. I was like, okay, first of all, you're at the age of my daughter. Second of all, we have nothing in common. You don't even know who the OJs are. You probably thinking I'm talking about orange juice. No, I'm talking about the OJs, the group.
Oh, boy. That's true.
I mean, really. I mean, and the best thing that Tolbert said, the best thing a young woman can do that's more than 20 years older than you is put you to the grave and make sure she gets you insurance money. That's the best thing she can do for you. That's what he is, sure enough right.
That's true. Oh.
I've had to stick to somebody close to my age, and the funny thing, he said, you better hold on to that woman about your age. She's going to make sure that leg works. She's going to make sure you can walk. She's going to make sure you can still sit in your bed. She's going to make sure you get to the doctor.
Because young girls now, they don't know how to cook. I mean, between the cooking, the cleaning, no. I mean, you have to be able to take care of a man 100%. Not just take care of the bedroom. You just don't want to do the bedroom because the bedroom is only going to keep him for so long. And that's going to get old.
Right.
So, you got to be able to take care of the mind, the body, and his soul. So, I mean, hey.
There you go. It's a package deal.
Yes, it is.
And the same goes for the men. You have to take care of the woman. It's a package deal. Mm-hmm. And most of it is. And one thing I do point out in this book is it's about communication. When you're done reading the book, you're going to really see that, there was a lack of communication and there was some communication. Then you're going to see, how the dating scene has changed, as I mentioned earlier. And then you will also see, the awareness of protecting yourself while you're dating. Protecting yourself if you decide to get intimate with someone. And it's very unfortunate, even in marriage, you gotta, make sure that your husband or your wife is you on the up and up. Or you on the up and up. I'm just checking around. I mean, do we need to wear protection or something? What? So those are things that is really in the book.
So Charles, I know your book came out on September 15th. And you sold over 1,000 copies. So can you please tell our listeners how they themselves can acquire one of your copies of your book?
Well, it is sold in Target. It is sold on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It is even sold in the UK. Blackwell.com, and for anyone who's in the UK. Okay. So what I've noticed, I have more traffic between Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I don't understand. I don't know why, but they're all online right now. So they have to obtain these copies online due to the COVID situation.
The Hidden Secrets of a Married Man is our answer to Terry McMillan. We're looking forward to having you back to join us, possibly in February, so we can have a discussion panel about your book. And to just hear other women as well. I mean, because so many of us have experienced what your book presents. And not just women, but also men. So we're looking at having men and women both on our panel for you at that time. And listeners, we'll have a date for you here shortly. But just wanted to let you know that more is to come. More is to come, and please grab this book, and you will enjoy reading it. And Mr. Tolbert, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us. If you have any other words you would like to share to our listeners, please go right ahead.
Absolutely. I want you all to understand that anytime I write books, I write it in a fiction and with the intentions for it to go into a movie. And so there's my hopes that this storyline, this book, will go into the movie. So keep your eyes out and ears. This is my intention. I appreciate you listening to this broadcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, and before we go, can you please share with our listeners any what projects do you have going on and taking place at this time?
Right now, I just completed my second book. That's called Split Personality in a Bottle. And that book entails, remember that movie called The Nutty Professor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. it's kind of like on that road. But the difference, however, this gentleman gets caught up in the line of drinking. And when he drinks, he blacks out. And when he blacks out, he becomes this other person. And he doesn't remember who he is. He don't know what he done until he wakes up as an introvert, a nerd, and finds himself in a luxurious apartment in a brand new car. And he's like, where did all this come from? But when he blacks out, he becomes this aggressive extrovert, a go-getter, a personality that really was inside him, but he didn't discover that until the end. So it's a good plot.
Almost like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but on the flip side.
There you go. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right, well,
exactly. And then my third book that I'm really beginning to start on is called Slavery in My Own Black Yard. Now, that's a true-based story. So that probably won't be out until September.
Well, I tell you have your hands full. Busy man.
Mm-hmm.
Very busy.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is. It keeps you out of trouble. That's for sure.
Keep me out of trouble. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no problem.
No, you don't.
I'm trying to do right, act right. I apologize. That's that country coming out. I'm a city boy. I'm really from the city in West Coast. I just inherited this, this country accent. I don't know where it came from. It just birthed. I'm in the store saying, "My, get that chewing gum right there." Yeah, that one right there. Yeah. How much you say? $1.49, $1.49. Okay, all right. Thank you, Maya. Thank you.
Oh man.
Then I'm in the West Coast. All of a sudden, my accent gets right again. I don't know what is that. Yes, let me have listen. I just need that chewing gum, okay? You understand? Okay, good deal. How much will it be again? Okay, $1.49, no problem. Yeah, okay, no problem. You see how that changed up? Wait till I get to New York.
Oh,
I'm going to change up real quick. Absolutely.
Thank you again for being on our show.
I enjoyed it. I look forward to the next one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We look forward to having you back. We really do.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you to our listeners for listening to the Voice of Many podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions, please contact us on our many social media web pages. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we hope to talk to you later.